This young person, an indigenous individual, Broken Arrow High School senior, was told she had to remove her feather in order to graduate from the high school. Her and her mother are now speaking out after the graduation night confrontation with school district employees over an eagle feather. Her name is Lena Black. Lena Black arrived at her graduation ceremony with the feather attached to her, and she had the feather on her cap without incident. There was no issue. At school earlier, no issue. Cleared multiple attire checkpoints at the stadium, no issue, right? After she entered Broken Arrow Memorial Stadium, she was approached by a school counselor and a security guard about the feather. Wait a minute, a school counselor and a security guard? Black says she attempted to explain what she was wearing, part of her native attire. It's cultural. And why, but she was ignored. The security guard started grabbing her cap, she said, trying to remove it by force, talking about the feather. Ultimately, Black had to leave the field due to an anxiety attack brought on by the incident. Okay, now you see what's happening here already. I got more. You have a simple expression of cultural independence that does not connect with the dominant white culture structure. This is all of a sudden a problem. This is a challenge to them. What in the hell does this have to do with academic, social development, protection, and education? Nothing. Nothing. This person has already jumped through your hoops. They're graduating. They sat in your classes. They listened to the dumbass jokes you probably told about natives in this country. They did their curriculum. They made the grades, and now they're graduating. And on the last day, this is what you do to penalize them. I don't think this was about a feather at all. I really don't. The more I looked into this story, I said they wanted to do this to her. They allowed her to go through these checkpoints. They knew what they wanted to do. I got more. After she entered Broken Arrow Stadium, approached by the counselor, all of this happened. In a written statement, BAP's Indian Education Coordinator Rich Paupa said the confrontation was due to a miscommunication about the required protocols to get approval, and that other indigenous students wore regalia Monday night without incident. However, the Black family said Wednesday that they were not apprised of any formal protocols or deadlines regarding regalia at graduation prior to Monday night's incident. Along with her mother, Marcy Black, Lena did receive an apology Wednesday morning from an assistant principal. Here it is. I want this to never happen to another Native student, Marcy Black said. What my daughter went through and I had to watch, I do not want another student to have to deal with that. They ruined something she has worked her whole life to achieve. It was completely destroyed because people did not know or weren't aware of the cultural aspect of her plume. We live in a state with such a large Native population. How did these people not know? Let's put up a picture of the principal, Crystal Barber, of Broken Arrow. Let me say this. Now it is speculation, okay? I don't buy for a minute they did not know. I think they targeted your child. I think they wanted to create problems on the greatest achievement of her natural life thus far. And I believe that you have an obligation to continue to push this and hold them accountable who did this to your daughter. Those are my thoughts on it. All right, Jara?
There's been these graduation stories, it happens every year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why school coordinators, principals, anybody, they monitor these things like it's Like it's high security at a festival, and they got to make sure nobody runs up on the stage and attacks the performers. Why isn't this a day of celebration? Why isn't this allowing students that have gone through this huge accomplishment, which we like to talk about? It's the biggest day of their lives. They're graduating, and we can't allow them to express themselves. I don't care if it was something that you actually don't like, or something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, or isn't even something that's so common in this community. Who cares?
Right.
She's walking across the stage, and she gets to wear what she wants. She gets to represent herself. Why does she have to change all these things up? There was a kid in Florida who was told before his speech, he was student council president, and he's part of the LGBT community, and then his principal told him, don't say anything about who you are, where you come from, or who your parents are, any of that stuff, because it's gonna make everyone else's day bad. Why are we concerned about everyone else's day when he's the one who's speaking up there? He has to speak and worry about everyone else in case they get offended by it. What if he gets offended by it? What if people who associate with him get offended by it? Or maybe he's gonna teach us how to be more inclusive and understand that we're not just all based on this one cultural direction. If someone wears jeans, that's a cultural American thing. An American, as American as blue jeans, right? We like to say things like that. If someone wears jeans, that's a cultural choice of attire. But that's not gonna get shut down.
Right.
Feathers will.
Exactly, and I want to say this about being offensive, all right? Leadership, and this is for, especially for young leaders. Leadership, the definition of leadership is wholly inaccurate because it tells you it's about who you motivate, who you can inspire. That's part of it. But some of your most defining moments in leadership is not about who you encourage or who you inspire, but it's about who you're willing to offend. That is the complete definition of leadership, not just who you inspire, but also who you are willing to offend when necessary.